Good morning, everyone. This is Jeff from the Cyber Pro podcast, back with another episode today. Our guest is Ron Fulton. He is the CEO of Cyber Soldier, and he's here to tell us a little bit about the emergence of CMMC. And with that, Ronald, good morning.
Good morning, Jeff. How are you? Happy Friday.
Thank you. In a few sentences, can you tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, I'm the leader and the founder of Cyber Soldier. I think it kind of speaks to what we are. We protect our clients' assets and important information in their organizations, and that spans from public, private sector companies, commercial, and governmental agencies. We also do a lot of work in training, and I think that's what we're going to cover today as it relates to CMMC.
Yeah, and that's a beast in itself. So let's dive into that. But before we get there, a second question. Being the CEO and founder of your own company, tell us a little bit more about what you find to be a very interesting aspect of where you sit today, pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, just where we are today and where we're going to go.
Well, yeah, let's just factor in the pandemic and the problems we have with a remote workforce and everybody working from their home and trying to secure those particular enterprises. Add on top of that, nation state actors and bad actors and villains, let's call them, trying to steal information from our nation, our country, and specific commercial organizations. So putting all that in context, there's a lot of good stuff that cybersecurity professionals are working on today.
Indeed, and unfortunately, it's only going to get bigger and faster from this point out. We hear from other industry leaders that cybersecurity, of course, is a top concern. You talked about the attack vectors of certain nation states and other bad guys. Let's talk about that for a second. What does that mean to you?
Well, if you just turn on the TV every day or listen to potentially your podcasts or similar types of media, you hear.
Thank you for the plug. I appreciate that.
The nation state attacks, and you don't have to search far, right? So turn on your computer and you hear about different organizations, metro organizations, transportation organizations, pipelines, the agriculture, all this being attacked. So clearly, we are a target. We as a country are a target. Our commercial sectors are targets, all the way down to small business now, where potentially there's a lot of gain in either, implementing ransomware or attacking, looking for specific types of information and/or, trying to capture information from financial systems and information, not only information, actual money. There's a lot of different, as you talked about, attack vectors emerging, and as we would call it, the threat landscape continually evolves and increases.
Yeah, and that's a perfect slide into our fourth question and the subject of our podcast today, the emergence of CMMC. You mentioned before the podcast a great line that I wanted to steal from you, and we can say thank you to whoever you might have stolen it from. But let's not let great be the enemy of good in relation to CMMC. On that, what would you like to share with our community on that?
Well, maybe a little education on the acronym itself, because there's enough acronyms flying around where we don't probably need OMG more acronyms. So CMMC, Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification, and what that primarily means is the Department of Defense's attempt to start to secure what they characterize as their Defense Industrial Base, or DIB, another acronym. And what that really means is deploying education and certification around independently evaluating or assessing the different vendors that do business with the Department of Defense. And what that really translates to from a cybersecurity perspective is just incrementally adding capabilities to the organization through without getting too technical, through technical controls, practices, processes, and essentially maturing those organizations to a level where the Department of Defense feels more comfortable, more confident, more secure that these companies are doing the right thing to protect national assets, such as information. The example many people use is the Chinese stealing the F-35 plans. So we don't want that to happen anymore. We just don't want that type of thing to happen, right? And it essentially bankrupts the country when that type of thing happens. So the DoD is moving very progressively forward in deploying that. And to the statement I made about great not being the enemy of good, they realize this is a burly beast to wrestle down. So by implementing my company through training, so I'm very proud actually to be one of 20 companies that are actually creating the curriculum, creating the content, putting the certification around teaching new assessors into the marketplace so that these commercial companies and vendors can become certified and more secure that they're doing the right things.
Fantastic. I think one of the key takeaways from that is incremental. And I think you actually used the word beast, because it is a beast.
Yeah.
And the incremental steps forward are better than no steps forward, honestly.
Correct.
So
Correct.
Thank you for that. You know what, for those of our viewers who want to learn a little bit more about you, Ron, a little bit more about Cyber Soldier, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
I think our websites obviously are the best way. So we have primarily two of them. Our more commercial oriented website, where we talk about our advisory services and things like that, is cybersoldier.io. We also are setting up a learning management system, an LMS, and also offer other types of training. And you can find that particular information at cybersoldieracademy.com.
Fantastic. And for those of you who might have missed that or are lazy like me, we will have a link below in the description box, so you can click on that right there. Ron, thank you very much for your time today. We have just about 30 seconds or so. Tell us, because we need a smile after that conversation, about your favorite piece of retro technology and why it makes you smile.
I think it goes back to the beginning of my career. And if you watch the progressive commercials on TV about don't turn into your parents, many times, and usually after a couple beers, generally speaking, I start to wander in my memories back to the beginning of my career. And I talk about, oh, I used to support these computers that were as big as refrigerators. And then I go, and look at this, it's thousands of times more powerful. So I guess that's the smile. I always chuckle at myself thinking, God, man, you're turning into your dad. So anyway, I like to go back in memories and remember how I got here. And quite frankly, I consider myself to be a pure play cyber guy, even before the term existed. So I'm actually very proud of that.
Well, I don't even know your dad, but I saw him just now.
Okay. He had more hair, quite honestly, if you want the truth.
Thank you for your time today, Ron.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. And for those of you who don't know, we at the Cyber Pro podcast publish 2 or 3 episodes a week with interesting folks like Ron. And we thank you for your viewership, and be well. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your time. Take care. Bye-bye.